Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. All the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Hey everyone, it's your all-lovable Merc with the Mouse, Deadpool. Today's episode will be a little different from usual. We're having a holiday special, and it's Christmas. Don't you just love it? The Christmas spirit, presents from all your loved ones. I'm surprised I'm actually saying this. So today we're gonna have a couple of sketches, a couple of voices heard. We're gonna do a lot of things. After all, it is Christmas, and to start off, we're gonna do a review of a movie coming to yours truly from the comic book fan 25 himself. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Deadpool. Hey everyone, I'm the comic book fan 25 coming at you with the Christmas special. And have my Spider-Man shirt on here. It's pretty cool. I told you in another video that I'd be redoing my reviews of The Dark Knight Rises and The Amazing Spider-Man. Reason is because I looked at my reviews and I didn't like them that much. I just kept saying, oh, they're awesome, just like my Avengers review. And I'm keeping the Avengers review, but but there are a lot of things I wanted to say on the movies. I want to be more in depth. So here is me redoing the Amazing Spider-Man review. It's nice because I have red, for Christmas, so I think that's pretty neat. So, I'm just going to start off now. First of all, what did I think of the movie? I really loved The Amazing Spider-Man. I really think it's a great Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man has been my favorite character ever since I was 2 years old, so go figure. Is it a perfect movie? It's near perfect for a Spider-Man movie. It has a couple of flaws. It has some flaws and some plot hole, and I think they could have been worked out a bit more. So I'll just get into it now. First of all, what did I think of Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man? Amazing. He is Peter Parker for me. He is like the Christopher Reeve to Spider-Man. Christopher Reeve was to Superman is a lot what Andrew Garfield is to Spider-Man, and I mean that. Every time I'm looking at the screen, I just kept thinking, I never once in the theaters saw Andrew Garfield and just thought, that's Andrew Garfield playing Spider-Man, playing Peter Parker. No, I just said, that is Peter Parker. He managed to make the character very realistic, very likable, and very much like nerds of today, I think. All the geeks. And I just think he did a great job. And he, as Peter Parker, he's this very shy, socially awkward kid. And as Spider-Man, he's, the smart-ass, wisecracking. He's a different person out of the costume. And his jokes are actually funny. And that's really important for Spider-Man. And, I really liked it. I really liked him as Spider-Man. And the Spider-Man suit, too, was very cool. It still kind of reminds me of the House of M costume in a way, but it grew on me, and I really came to like it. It's good in the context of the film, and I think Andrew Garfield did a great Spider-Man. And this is one thing I really want to touch on about him as Spider-Man. As Peter Parker, not as Spider-Man, as Peter Parker. I've heard a lot of fans complain saying that they thought Peter Parker was a douchebag in the film. And I don't really know where that's coming from. And they gave reason for it. They said, number one was because when Captain Stacy died, he made Peter make a promise. And, no entra. Sorry, that was my parents. Yeah, when Captain Stacy died, he, Peter made a promise not to leave Gwen out of danger. And people thought he was a douchebag, for in the end, saying that, promises you can't keep, those are the best kind. and all that, and saying, oh, he's a douchebag, he's defying the guy, he's saying, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna get with this hot chick. No, that's not it at all. Captain Stacy told him to keep Gwen out of danger, alright? Peter believes that he can do that and still be her boyfriend. That's what Peter believes. Now, we all know Gwen is eventually going to die, and Peter's going to see his mistake, and then, he'll learn from his mistake. He's just a teenager, people, okay? He's just a teenager. He's gonna make mistakes. And if you read the Ultimate comic books, when Peter Parker first became Spider-Man, he was a bit of a dick to Uncle Ben and Aunt May. He said, oh, you both raised me to be losers like you. He apologized for it afterwards, of course, but, I thought what was douchey of him was not to show up at his funeral to, comfort Gwen and telling her that he can't see her anymore. I thought that was douchey. He made up for it in the end, by going to her and deciding to, get into a relationship with her. He believes that he can still keep her out of danger. He'll see that that was wrong, but, yeah. He's not defying Captain Stacy at all. He just thinks he can keep Gwen out of danger while still being in a relationship with her. And that's fine. I mean, and even if he hadn't been with Gwen, it would have ended the exact same way as the first Spider-Man movie. It would have ended with him saying he can't be with her because she'll be endangered in his life as Spider-Man. And how could you even get to the death of Gwen Stacy that way? I mean, it wouldn't make any sense. And, what else? Yeah, people also said he was a douche for stealing web shooters. For stealing the web shooters from Oscorp. And I'm going to clear that up right now. If you pay close attention, you can see an Oscorp package on his desk. He ordered the web shooters. I don't think people were really paying attention. But I will admit, it's a plot hole because, there's nothing explaining, if Oscorp sells the webs. And even if they do, it must be pretty damn expensive. And we all know Peter Parker is not a rich guy. So, how could he even afford that on his salary? So that's a plot hole. But it's not a huge one. It's a minor hiccup. And it doesn't ruin the rest of the film. The actors, overall, Martin Sheen as Uncle Ben was amazing. I think he had good chemistry with Andrew Garfield. Sally Field as Aunt May. She made a really strong Aunt May, and I really liked that. Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, beautiful and funny, really, I really like her. And, what was his name? The name of the actor? I can't remember, but the guy who played Captain Stacy also very good in the role. And, Rhys Ifans as, the Lizard, he was good, I liked him, I really believed him as a Kurt Connors type. And I think I should move on to that, And the Lizard. What did I think of the Lizard? I liked him, but I really thought they could have kept the scene where... Because there's a deleted scene where Kurt Connors meets Bill, goes to talk to his son, Billy. And I really think they should have left that in, just so fans know that, he actually has a family. You can easily find that out in the Amazing Spider-Man game, which I played, which is really good too. But for people who can't play it, they'll really be lost. I don't think the Lizard was unsympathetic because at the end, when Peter's about to fall off the building, he helps Peter, and that's when he turns back into Kurt Connors. So he's still pretty much a guy, who cares about Peter and human life, and he refuses to test the Lizard serum on any other human test subjects because he doesn't want to risk it. So I thought that was very, sympathetic too. So, I still feel sympathy, but I still think they could have left that scene of him with his son Billy. And also the scene where he gives his condolences to Peter about his dead uncle. I think they could have kept that scene too. So deleted scenes are stuff that could have been kept in this movie, so that's one of the flaws. And Norman Osborn's assistant, the Indian guy whose name I can't remember, in an earlier script he was going to be Miles Warren, who would become the Jackal later on, and I really wish they kept that because that would have been pretty cool actually. And And yeah, and what else? But yeah, I thought the lizard was sympathetic, but they could have kept those scenes in there. And what else? What else can I talk about? What else can I say about the movie? What can I say about the story? The origin is done in a very new way that feels fresh, and I really liked it. It's kind of like the ultimate version of it, and I know they couldn't do the wrestling bit because that was already done in the Raimi films, so they'd be repeating themselves. But I like how they have a nice throwback, when Peter falls inside the ring and he sees the luchador poster, and that's where he gets the idea of putting on a mask. That was a really neat way of, putting it in the origin, and it kind of dates back to his wrestling years. What else? I swear there was something else I wanted to mention here. But those are the things so far. So the movie, sorry about that, I was just thinking really hard. What did I think of the score for the movie? Yeah, now this is where I draw the line with Raimi films and this new one. The score by James Horner was good, but it's not catchy. It's not really memorable. I don't know, it just doesn't really feel like a memorable Spider-Man song. The Raimi films, even when I was little and I watched those movies, I still remember the song, the score by Danny Elfman, which was awesome. I still remember it to this day. Maybe it's because there were 3 movies, it was a trilogy, and this is just the first movie, I don't know. Who knows, maybe the score will grow on me, who knows. Yeah, and I might as well compare this movie to the Raimi films right now. I think it's better than Spider-Man 1 and 3. And I think it's up there with Spider-Man 2 as one of the best Spider-Man films ever. So, it's got that going for it. And, what else? What else? I swear there was something else I wanted to say. Oh yeah. Peter's relationship with Gwen, totally believable. I buy why they have an attraction to each other. They're both very shy and nerdy and geeky, and they like science, and that was so believable, and I could buy their relationship in one movie more than I buy Peter and Mary Jane's relationship in the Raimi trilogy, because that was just a fiasco. And since they introduced Gwen, in the next movie, Mary Jane will have a chance to finally be Mary Jane from the comic books, and I think that's really fun. That'll be really cool. And the actress that's gonna play in her, who's the girl from The Descendants, is she a good choice? I guess so. Let's see how she does. Let's see. I liked her in The Descendants. I'm getting off topic here. But yeah, and the ending, had the guy in the shadows. Yeah, people have been speculating who that is. Some people said it was Electro. It's not Electro, believe me. The guy was clearly a white guy. You can see by his hands and his voice, and the reasons they thought it was Electro was just really stupid. Just because there was lightning? No. Electro doesn't teleport that way. And, I think was he Norman Osborn? Maybe. He might have been Norman Osborn, I'm not sure. Who knows? My best guess is that it was Norman Osborn. It's quite confusing to find out. And I'm not even sure if that was just Kurt Connors' hallucination. And it could have been his hallucination. But, who knows? Because they say the next villain in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is going to be Electro, played by Jamie Foxx. I'm not sure how to feel about that. I like Jamie Foxx a lot as an actor, and I have no problem with him playing Electro at all. But to have, out of all the villains they could have chosen for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Electro, really? He's such a minor villain. I don't know why you would even go with that guy. The Lizard makes sense. The Lizard is a character that hasn't been done, and he's a character, he's a really big villain in Spider-Man mythology. But just Electro? Like, what, really? Are you really gonna go that... Are you gonna go with that villain? I don't hate Electro, but he's not really a huge Spider-Man villain, if you've read the comics. But yeah, I think this movie really nailed Peter Parker. I think they got him well. The action scenes, they were all pretty good, you know, some very good effects. And one thing I particularly loved about Spider-Man is a scene where he's in the sewers looking for Lizard, and he creates this web, and whichever web vibrates, he follows the vibrations in the web to find Lizard, just like an actual spider. That was just awesome. And it even looked like the Todd McFarlane cover of Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's doing all these positions, and, you know, he acts like an actual spider. And that's really cool. And I have to say, Mark Webb did a great job with this. I wasn't sure what to think of him, you know, as a Spider-Man director, other than the fact that his last name is Webb, which is kind of funny. But he did a great job, and I'm really glad he's going to direct the next one. And, yeah, and it looks like he's really, you know, he really understands the Spider-Man character, and Andrew Garfield understands the Spider-Man character. Even Emma Stone seems to understand Gwen Stacy, and Rhys Ifans seems to understand the Lizard character, you know, and, you know, the actors were just all great. And Uncle Ben, I think that's a character I should touch on. Uncle Ben, you know, great chemistry, you know, between him and Peter and Aunt May. And Uncle Ben's death, I really did cry this time. It was really sad. I mean, I did, you know, feel bad, you know, in the Raimi film when Uncle Ben died. But, you know, not as much as I did in this one. This one was really hard to watch, you know, Uncle Ben die after Peter has been so depressed. Really a powerful scene. And also, Captain Stacy's death was quite a powerful scene, and I think since J. Jonah Jameson isn't in this movie, Captain Stacy kind of had to be the character to hate Spider-Man. And I had no idea he was going to die in the movie, or that he was going to find out that Peter was Spider-Man, or that he was going to end up trusting Peter. And also, I want to touch on that thing again about people thinking Peter was a douchebag. No, when Peter was at the dinner, you know, with the guy, with Captain Stacy, after that scene, you know, after the argument they have at dinner, Peter apologizes, and Peter says, you know, hey, if I offended you in any way, you know, I'm really sorry. And another scene where it proves that Peter wasn't being a douche was when Flash Thompson, that's a character I want to touch on. Flash Thompson was done really well. He's more interesting in this movie than he's ever been. And you know, reading the comic books, I love him as Venom. And I was just really glad to see that they nailed Flash in this film, too. And I had no idea Flash and Peter were going to become friends at the end. And it was done in a very nice way, and just overall, you know, the characters were done really well in this movie. You know, I really liked them. The Lizard could have been a little bit better, but other than that, the other characters were just awesome. And the scene where Flash Thompson, or Eugene is his real name, where he's picking on a kid and he's making him eat food, you know, force feeding him and lifting him up. You know, Peter defends the kid. You know, Peter says, you know, put him down, Eugene. You know, so how's Peter a douchebag? Peter is saving a kid from being bullied. Again, I don't think people were really paying that much attention when they saw this film. You know, these fans that thought Peter was a douchebag, you know, perhaps some of them weren't really paying that much attention. Or who knows? It's their opinion. But I don't think Peter was a douche. I thought Peter was very likable in this film. And Andrew Garfield, he was better than Tobey Maguire, I have to say, but that in no way, because I've actually heard, you know, fans of Spider-Man have been Nolanized now, you know, because when Nolan's Batman film came out, people were just like, that's awesome. Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton, oh, they sucked. That's what they began to think, and that's kind of what's happening with The Amazing Spider-Man. They say, oh, this movie's awesome, and the Raimi trilogy, they sucked. Tobey Maguire was a horrible Spider-Man. You know, the Raimi movies were the worst thing to ever happen to Spider-Man. I don't think that way. You know, I loved The Amazing Spider-Man, but I still love the Raimi trilogy. I didn't think Tobey Maguire was a bad Spider-Man or Peter Parker. Yeah, he was good. You know, he was okay. I grew up with him, and he did his best. And Tobey Maguire is a good actor. I mean, he does really good roles in other films, and he was in no way a bad Peter Parker, at all. I would never say that. I do think Andrew Garfield is a superior performance to Tobey's, but that doesn't mean I hate Tobey Maguire. I liked him. I prefer Andrew Garfield, but I still like Tobey. But I don't like Mary Jane, alright? That's a character I never liked, and I never will. I hope Mary Jane and they do justice to the Mary Jane character in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I really do. The only character I liked, my favorite character from the Raimi trilogy, I thought that was done well, was Harry Osborn. James Franco did a great Harry Osborn, and I really can't wait. I can't wait to see what they do with Harry Osborn in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I really can't. So yeah, I don't hate the Raimi trilogy at all. I still love the Raimi trilogy. I grew up with those movies. So, and Spider-Man 2, still a great Spider-Man movie. So, it has that going for it. And I think now, The Amazing Spider-Man, so far, this one movie was a really good movie. So yeah, overall, I love The Amazing Spider-Man. I think it's a great movie, a great Spider-Man movie. And, I can't wait, to see how it unfolds. I really want to see the rest of this, because we know this is going to get a lot of sequels. And one more thing I want to touch on. Peter's killer, when he escaped. When I first saw that, I wasn't really sure what to think. Should I be mad? Peter was supposed to learn about responsibility, but at the dinner, when Captain Stacy explains to him that Spider-Man is just on a revenge mission and he's not really helping anyone, Peter learns about responsibility then, and then he helps the people on the bridge. And, that was really cool. And I really like that about Spider-Man. How he learns responsibility in the movie. This was a really good idea. And I think they're setting up the killer, Uncle Ben's killer. I think they're setting him up for something. I think maybe once Peter gets the black costume on, he might go over the edge and nearly kill him. And then that's the point where he figures out he needs to get the costume off. I don't know. I'm just hoping they set him up for something, because we know this movie's going to get a lot of sequels, so I really hope, something cool like that happens. And another really cool thing was, I think, some people say, Spider-Man, what's his goal, as a hero in New York? I think it's explained in this movie. What does Spider-Man do? If you know New Yorkers don't really stick up for each other. They're very rude to each other. And when the construction worker, they help Spider-Man, with all the cranes, so Spider-Man has something to shoot his webs to. I think that Spider-Man, inspires people to stick up for themselves. He inspires New Yorkers, to be good to other people and to stick up for their friends and to stick up for other New Yorkers. And I think that's a really cool thing. I never really thought. It's different from the way Batman inspires people, but it's a nice way, So I like that Spider-Man inspires people, and that's something that he does really well. And just overall, this movie was just really a great movie, and I really have fun with it. And it gets better every time I watch it, so who knows, maybe if I watch it again, I'll like it even more. But I rank it higher every time I see it. It's a really good movie, and it really grows on you. Or at least it does on me. So yeah, that's my review of The Amazing Spider-Man. These are really the things I want to touch on, and that I didn't in the last video. And I can't wait to see The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I can't wait to see what they do with the rest of the characters, with Mary Jane and Harry Osborn. And I don't know if Gwen Stacy will die, but I really want to see how that happens too. And Electro, not too, excited, but yeah. So that's all I have to say, and thanks for listening, guys. See yas.
And now the comic book fan will show us his presents that he got for Christmas. I got an AK-47. Awesome.
Hey everyone, it's me again, and I'm going to show you the presents that I got for Christmas, which were pretty cool. From my three good friends, Indio, Bish, and Katya, I got an EB Games gift card. It's actually really, really cool, so I'm probably going to be able to get a game for free or a game for a lower price. Who knows, but it's pretty cool, and I'd like to say thank you to Indio, Bish, and Katya for giving this to me. Thanks, guys. And another friend of mine, Cynthia, also a good friend of my parents, gave me this cool guitar mug. Near, near, near. I'm definitely going to use this every morning. So, excuse me, I have to say this in Portuguese. Obrigado, Cynthia. Eu adorei esse presente, essa guitarra. Muito obrigado. My parents, I'd like to say thank you to my parents for giving me the latest Resident Evil 6 game. It's really cool. This is where Chris Redfield and Leon S. Kennedy finally meet each other. So, it's going to be pretty cool. Can't wait to play it. I got a new watch. And, yeah, a new watch. And I really miss having a watch. So, this is really cool, and it's filled a hole in my life, and I'd like to say thank you to my parents for giving me this too. And I'd like to give a big, even bigger thanks to my parents for giving me the awesome iPod 5, 64 gigabytes. This thing is awesome. I just love the red on it, and it already has all my songs, because I lost my previous iPod, so I'm never going to lose this one. Even has my initials on it. Right here you probably can't see, but it's MNC. It's actually really, really cool. It's awesome. So the, cool iPod, and it also came with these sweet headphones. Yeah. These are actually really good. They really fit well in my ear. So yeah. Those are my presents that I got for Christmas. And I'd like to thank you everyone for giving me those presents. So thank you everyone, and Merry Christmas everyone. Have fun.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. The Comic Book Fan 25 has to go celebrate Christmas, and to be fair, so do I. So, apologies for such a short episode. This is all we have to say. Merry Christmas, and have a Happy New Year. See ya, bitches.